Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Cursed City Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the Ulfenwatch, otherwise known as these really cool skeletons. And they are really cool. So, what we're going to do, without beating about the bush too much, we're going to jump right in and start painting. They've been primed in grey Seer, and the first thing we're going to do is going to work on all of their cloth. Now I'm going to be working on these 5. There are 10 in the box, but I'm going to be working on these 5 just because, you know, there's enough variation here and the rest are kind of duplicates. Now when I say we're going to work on all the cloth, we're not going to work on that banner just yet. That is going to be a different colour, but all of the cloth is all of this kind of, these kind of areas down here. Now, what we're just going to do is just quickly pop a few of these out of the way, just for the moment. And the colour we're going to do is we're going to make a roughly 3 parts Gryph Hound Orange to 1 part Gore-Grunta Fur. And as I say, we're going to be using this all over all of the cloth, excluding that banner, just like this. I want to use it on the inside and on the outside. Just like this. And with that done, what we now want to do is we want to darken it down even further. We've got what we want in terms of the kind of the tone for our robes. So the colour we're going to make is a roughly 4 parts contrast medium to 1 part Wyldwood. We just want to very carefully, we don't want to overload our brush here, so we don't want to just like turn it completely brown. What we want to do is we want to paint this over the top of our robes. Just like this. And with that done, you should have some skeletons or Ulfenwatch that look somewhat like this. Pretty cool, right? So, what we're going to do now, just pop him to one side. And again, we've got the other ones. He's still drying. Got the other ones just out of shot here. But what we are going to do now is we're going to paint in their armour. The colour we're going to use first for this is Iron Warriors. Now, the shields are also silver, as are the kind of the sharp ends of their weapons, like the swords and spears. But we're not going to be doing them in Iron Warriors, no. We're just doing this on the armour. So on the breastplates, shoulder guards, hip guards, all those kinds of places. And with that Iron Warriors applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to grab some black Templar. I'm going to paint over the top of it. Just like this. And with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Castellax Bronze and we're going to use this to paint in all of the kind of ring mail / scale mail, whatever you want to call this type of mail, like that. What we also want to do is on any swords, for example on this guy, we want to use this Castellax Bronze to paint in the decorative features on the blades. I should mention as well, during that Black Templar step, we applied it over any straps as well. For example, right there on the back. And with that done, what we now want to do is we want to use some thinned down iron hand steel. And we want to use this to paint in the weapons. Like that. We also want to use this to paint in the shields. Just avoiding that wooden hole handle. We want to use this all over the shield, including on the inside. And with that done, what we now want to do is want to make a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Black Templar and Wyldwood. And we're going to use this to paint in all of the wood, funnily enough. So we want to use this on the spear hafts. Like that. We also want to use this on the handles on the Seer shields. Just like this. And so with that done, it's time for our final base coat, which is Skeleton Horde. And you guessed it, it's going to go all over the skeletons. I'm going to put this all over their bones. Just like this. And so with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to shade in all of our Iron Hand steel. And the colour we're going to be making is a roughly 2 parts Black Templar, 1 part Terradon Turquoise, and 4 parts medium. So it's a 4, 2, 1. 4 parts contrast medium, 2 parts Black Templar, 1 part Terradon Turquoise. What we want to do is we want to take this mix on our brush, and I'm just going to start here on the shield. We just want to start painting this all over. Just like that. And with that done, we're then going to use some Basilicanum Grey to shade our Castellax Bronze areas. Just like that. And so with that done, all of our base coats are now applied. The only thing we haven't done yet is the banner, and that's because we're going to do that a little bit later. So what we are going to do before we do any of that is we are going to now take these guys to the next level, and we're going to start by highlighting all of the silver. So we've got the shield, the weapon, and the black. Now, the colour we're going to be using is Necron Compound. We're going to be doing this as a dry brush. And the reason we're doing it as a dry brush is because we don't want this to be like super clean highlights all over, because these guys are very dead and very dirty. So we just want to dry brush this Necron Compound like this, over our silver. But also over the black as well. And we want to be very gentle when we do it over the black. But it doesn't matter if it's a bit scratchy, because that's the kind of effect we're going for. And don't worry if you don't get all of the edges, because we are going to do a little bit of highlighting. But this is to just kind of really finish off the effect of the army that we want. Just like that, see? Looks nice and battered. If you don't have Necron Compound, you could do this with Iron Hand Steel. We're using Necron Compound now because, well, it's a dry paint. It was designed for this kind of thing. And so with that done, you should now have some silver and some black that looks somewhat like this. So what we're going to do, just to finish that off, is going to take some Iron Hand Steel and just on the really sharp edges, like there and there, I'm just going to add a little highlight, just like that. You can do as much or as little of this as you want. If you're happy with just the dry brush, you can just leave it at just the dry brush, but if you just do add that little line there, it makes all the difference, as you can see on these guys here. And so with that done, what we now want to do is we're going to take some Deathclaw Brown. We want to use this to highlight our cloth. You don't have to pick out every single edge. Kind of just highlight up to taste. Just like this. And so with that done, what we then want to do is take some Pallid Witch Flesh and use this to highlight all of our bones. And with that done, what we then want to do is we want to use some Liberator Gold to highlight all of our Castellax Bronze areas. And with that done, all that's left to do is to take some Baneblade Brown and use this to highlight our wooden areas. And so with that done, our skeletons, or Ulfenwatch as they are more commonly known, are finished. And they look pretty damn awesome. Now, the generic ones are finished, but we do have one detail left, and that is going to be the banner. here. And the colour we're going to be using for this is Flesh Tearers Red. I'm going to use my medium layer brush for this rather than the small. And what we want to do is just want to take that Flesh Tearers Red on our brush and start painting this all over, like so. And with that done, what we then want to do is we want to take some thinned down Wazdakka Red. We want to use this to highlight the sharp edges and folds on that banner. Just like this. And with that Wazdakka Red applied, what we then do is take a small amount of Squig Orange. We use this as a little spot highlight on the sharpest areas. Just like this. And with that done, all that's left to do is to finish off their bases. And of course I recommend that you do this in the same style as the rest of your Cursed City set. If you'd like to see how I'm going to do mine, you can check out how to paint Captain Imelda Braskov or how to paint Jelson Daruk, as I covered the recipe in full in those videos. And there you have it, the Ulfenwatch in all their former glory? Well, sort of. I mean, they are dead, and they are glorious. So, their current glory? I don't know. It's very difficult to get the correct terminology for these guys sometimes. There's so many undead in the Cursed City. Who would have thought? They're a lot of fun. I say that every time, but these new skeletons, they absolutely do the business. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, like these legends and bosses that you can see on the screen before you, you can do so. Head to patreon.com/warhipster or head to ko-fi.com/warhipster. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.